Hey guys. Hey Sally. Hey Triple Threat. Hey Kimberly. So I really wanted to read this book, The Mojave Incident. It's about aliens. It's about an alien abduction. This couple got abducted and they tell their whole story. I haven't read it yet. I've read like, I don't know, like the back of it at least. And it really got my attention. I love this stuff, right? Hey Heavenly Cow. But I was like, I'm still reading Breaking Free by Rachel Dress. Is this gonna screw us up? I don't know. What do you guys think? I just know I love stuff like this. I was thinking maybe do this every Thursday with this book and then every Wednesday for the other book. I was just watching, do you guys do a lot of you watch like ghost channels and stuff like that? So I found I don't watch them all the time, but oh my gosh. So he literally got hey Ginger, he literally got so oh my gosh TV, he got 16 different YouTubers to go to 16 different places and they're locked in it alone. And I'm on episode 4. Holy crap. It's really cool. Like they're all together. There's like Jasco, there's everyone. Hey, Autistic. Who's all in this? Paranormal Survivor. One of the two of the brothers are in it actually. There's Jasco, there's I know their faces and their names I know, but I can't put two and two together. The one that's related to Lizzie Borden, Seth Borden. He's in it. Uh, there is, the fam's in it. Hold on. Hopefully it'll give me a list instead of guessing. Musarji's in it. CJ Faison, Chris Starr, obviously Omar. Twin Paranormal's in it. Hey, Brenda Paz. Kelsey's in it. Exploring with Josh is in it. Uh, who else? Sean Foreman from the Former Brothers. I think oh, okay, it's just Josh Foreman then. Okay. So there's 16 different people that are in this. I thought it was amazing. If you guys want to check that out. Hey, Cool Gamer. So it's Oh My Gosh TV. It's got all of them. I don't know. I think it's awesome. I ended up not ordering, sorry. I ended up buying one of the apps that they use. And it's called the what the hell is this thing called? The Necrometer. I don't know. Might have to use it later just to see. It talks a lot, I'll tell you that. So I don't know if you guys are interested in that. Oh my gosh. It's pretty interesting. That's what he just went live with all of them. So I was like, holy crap, it's so cool. I'm definitely not big enough and my channel's not all ghosts, so I was definitely not invited. That'd be awesome if I ever was. But no, I never will be. All right, so this book is called The Mojave Incident, and it is inspired by a chilling true story of alien abduction. This guy won an award for it, the Albright Award. Hey, buddy, can you just shut your door a bit? Lee? Just one second. Thank you. Alrighty. I don't know who the two mics are yet, but apparently this book is for the two mics, Pierce and O'Brien. All right, so here's the preface. What follows is an incredible true story. If these adjectives seem a contradiction, they are not, because the story I'm about to relate defies both our senses and the reality we share, yet it's absolutely true. In November 1990, while I was on a business trip to California, Paul Moran, a longtime associate, told me about Tom and Elise Gifford and the trauma they endured while in Mojave Desert some 13 months earlier. It was over dinner and in confidence because few people knew of what had occurred. They changed the names. Um, of the victims here. I'm saying victims because I'm sorry, if you're abducted, you're a victim. They changed the name. I know the real names and you can look them up and it's online and everything, but for the sake of the book, and I'm assuming they don't really want to be known, I'm just gonna stick with the fake names. You scared her? Oh my gosh. Frankly, the Giffords were afraid to tell anyone outside their immediate family, and Paul, Tom's closest friend, for fear of ridicule. Nevertheless, Paul felt it important that I know. As a writer, the story would be of interest to me, and Paul knew it. So the writer is this guy here. His name is, what is his name? Ron Felber. Probably really hard to see his face, but that's him there. As a friend of the Giffords, he hoped that having someone listen to and communicate their astounding encounter would aid them in the last coming to grips with their experience. Tom and Elise Gifford are stable, credible individuals. Tom is a 32-year-old supervisor of large construction projects. He's a graduate of the University of Redlands, where he excelled in football and an all-league linebacker in the early 1980s. One immediate impression upon meeting him holds. Tom is quietly confident, self reliant, and a self reliant man, the kind of witness any attorney would relish having on his side in the case where the outcome hinged on a single individual's testimony. As a person, Elise Gifford is no less impressive. Like her husband, she's a product of a middle class upbringing and University of Redlands graduate. Elise is the mother of three: Thomas, age 2.5, Zoe, 5 months, and Ashley, yet unborn at the time of their abduction. She was pregnant at the time of their abduction. Oh my god. Now that scares me even more. She is gentle yet strong-willed, particularly when it comes to her family, the more sensitive of the two. Elise is the recorder of fine detail, the problem solver confronted on the evening of October 22nd, 1989, with the mystery she and Tom will be forced to contemplate for the rest of their lives. This is their story, a crack in the wall, if you will, that offers the rare opportunity to see beyond this reality into another so startlingly different that it will change the way you view man's place in this world forever. Hey, Navajo Blondie. You don't want us to start forgetting. Oh my god, you guys. Don't be doing that. You don't need the CPS called on you. Oh, I'm just kidding, of course. No, Triple That Threat always calls her kids brats, so like she's obviously joking, but she's always saying something. All right, number one, invasion. When we first saw them dropping from the sky, we thought it was some kind of military maneuver, maybe for Operation Desert Storm. But it was too massive even for that. I mean, there were thousands of them falling, then rushing toward us. I would shit. I really would. I would. That's the only thing I can ever say when I'm scared. I'd shit. Thousands of them falling and then rushing toward us. Aliens. So I kicked out the campfire, grabbed my gun, and ran into the back of the camper with Elise. Then we sat there, Indian style, waiting until they came. Thousands of them, thousands of pairs of tiny red eyes glowing in the dark around us. That's from the husband, Tom Gifford. Lush. Chapter 1, La Miranda, California, October 20th, 1989. This is at 12:20 p.m. Yeah, they're old enough to make their own food, but God forbid those teenagers make their own food. I know. My son's 12, he can make some things. This photo I found is terrifying. Scares the crap out of me. The gateway weekend Tom had promised seemed a godsend. Elise was thinking as she vacuumed the wall to wall carpeting in their living room. Outside, Tom was packing the 1987 Ford pickup his dad had lent them for the trip. Complete with a camper's shell, a double bed, and fully carpeted interior, she was hopeful its conveniences would make their weekend in Mojave Desert more bearable. So does this mean she had the 2.5-year-old, the 5-month-old with her when they got abducted? No. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to read to find out. Originally, it started as a hunting trip, an idea she found abhorrent, but now their plans had expanded to include a stop at Semadome and sightseeing at Mitchell Caverns. Not exactly a jaunt to the islands, but these days, with the kids and Tom's hectic schedule, just getting away together was enough to satisfy her. Holy shit, the kids were with her. It's me when it's that time of the month for a week. Whew. Besides, they'd be camping at Mid Hills, which Tom knew to be clean and well cared for, so wouldn't really be roughing it. She flicked off the Electrolux. Oh my god, you guys remember those vacuums? The Electrolux. Her eyes scanned the living room for toys, baby bottles, and the hell is that? Zubak toast? No, I don't know how to pronounce this. Do you guys know what the hell this toast is? ZWEI back. You have to explain that one to me. Maybe someone knows. Never heard of it. Oh yeah, it's not gonna post. Artifacts a young mom came to expect after having scored their four-bedroom ranch style home for the better part of the morning. Call her the nervous type or just plain conscientious, but she wanted the house to look right. After all, Tom's parents weren't obliged to babysit, and agreeing to take care of the kids for the weekend was a big favor. Okay, good. The kids weren't there. Yeah, I think it's they like their mom's cooking. That and a little bit of laziness. Maybe it's full of fiber. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, that'd make sense. The least she could do was see to it that the place was clean. With the beds made, dishes done, she bent down to retrieve a transformer Tom Jr. had tucked away beneath the coffee table. Elise turned the plastic toy inward so that the spaceship converted into a tiny green monster howling up from the center of her palm. The face was twisted grotesquely. Whether in the fierceness or in pain, she could not tell. She studied it for a drawn moment. Why on earth would a silly toy like this seem strangely significant? She wondered before tossing into the toy chest in the corner of the room. Thomas and Tommy, where are you? She called. Elise Gifford padded through the hallway and into the baby's bedroom, looking immediately to the crib where Zoe, their 5 month old, lay sleeping. Her hair was blonde, her skin fair, just like Lisa's. Her legs and body were long and extended beneath the cotton blanket. Gonna make a fine sprinter someday, Elise reflected in a flash of her memories back to her track days at Chafee High, a natural born runner. The thought had no sooner passed through her mind when she caught sight of Tom Jr., already a climber at 2.5 years of age. He was on the other side of the crib, attempting to scale the guardrail. She rushed across the room in time to catch him, then shook her head at it all. You little monkey, she scolded him, his face 6 inches from her own. You were gonna pounce on your baby sister, weren't you? Jeez, probably. She rubbed her nose up against his. He giggled and squirmed as Elise held him back from her again, staring into his crystal blue eyes. For a split second, she thought that she saw something in them. No, behind them, that caused her pause. Quite unlike his own, these appeared the wizened, knowing eyes not of a toddler, but of an old man. We know one we know one another well. The eyes seemed to be saying, we are the same, you and me, in mind and body and soul. These reflections were interrupted by the sound of Tom's heavy football at his 6'1", 225-pound frame ambled down the hallway toward Zoe's room. Where the hell are they? He pled. Shh, Elise hissed back at him. The baby. He held up his right hand in a gesture of compliance. Sorry, I didn't know she was sleeping. She screwed her eyes to the she screwed her eyes to the ceiling, feeling every minute of their 5 year marriage, then gathered Tom Jr. in her arms. Screwed her eyes to the ceiling. I've never heard of that. Fixed, maybe, not screwed. Uh, I missed my I missed my spot here. Have you called? She asked once they entered the hallway. Yeah, I called. There's no answer. She planted Tom Jr. feet first on the carpet, then bent down to tie his shoe. Then on their way. There's no need to have a heart attack about it. You'll get to shoot your deer or buck or whatever it is you're after. I swear sometimes I think you are more of a little boy than your son. It's a buck. He pouted, apparently. Aw. That kind of 4 point buck I've been after every year for 15 years out in the Mojave. Tom marched from the hallway into the foyer. Then at the front door, Tom Jr. Went after him as Elise watched, still on one knee. Men, she swore quietly to herself. Once outside, Tom walked to the back of the truck in the driveway. He extended the tailgate, reaching beyond the gas stove, blankets and cooler to grab the 7 millimeter Browning Magnum that hung on the rack above the fold down bed on the camper's right side. He held the weapon up sight to eye, then took aim. In his mind, he could see the mule deer near as big as a horse, like he'd seen in 1 week before. Because it was, tracking the huge animal down and locating it once you did was no easy feat. Its grayish color and indistinguishable, I can't even say that, indistinguishable from the pinyon pine, shrub pines, and high sand. So much so that more than once he'd heard of hunters suddenly discovering a 300-pound buck not 15 feet from them. It wasn't like that when Ron, his 26-year-old brother, dad, and he were out in California high desert near Tabletop Mountain at the opening of hunting season. No, he had the buck all right. Not 100 yards off in the distance, poised like a statue or a knoll, just north of them. Since he found it, it was his shot. His chance to bag a magnificent specimen huge with a 4-point rack of antlers directly in his gun sight. But he missed. Goddamn failed, he cursed, letting the weapon fall back down to the side. And he wasn't used to failing, not in football, where he played first team middle linebacker for the University of the Redlands, and not in business, where as project manager for the Southwest Construction, he never missed an opportunity for a sale, always bringing his project in on time and under budget. Hunting was no different. It was determination that paid off in the long run, Tom always liked to say. And he was out to prove it again this weekend. Hopefully. Yeah, I'm glad it's not as bad as it was, but still, I hate it when people suffer from back pain because it's so hard to solve. Tom returned to the rack beneath the shell of the camper. Tom Jr. had climbed into the tailgate and was worming his way through the menagerie of camping equipment. Tom took him into his arms. Your daddy's going to bag that deer, Tommy, he promised. You wait and see. On Monday night after we come back, the whole family's going to have one hell of a venison dinner. It was then that Tom heard the long awaited sound of his dad's Chevy Lumina parking outside. The engine stopped, the two-car doors opened, and slammed as Tom Jr. wrestled his way out of Dad's arms and down to the ground. Geez, what took you so long? He called. His dad, whom they called Wolfie because of his white hair and sharp wolfish features, smiled broadly, proud to display the overspill of paunch that had crept over his belt line during, during the past couple of years. He collected Tom Jr. in his arms. This guy cracks me up. Barstow's not around the corner, you know. We hit traffic on I-15. What's the hurry anyway? Easy for you to say, his son joked. All you gotta do is look forward to the babysitting. I'm on my way to bag a 4-pointer. I wish you luck after last week. You deserve it, son. Carol, Tom's mom, came up beside Wolfie. He passed Tom Jr. into her open arms. Tall and thin, in contrast to her ex-Marine husband's stout frame, her red hair was cut short in a pixie style that flattered her longish face, high cheekbones, and distinctive features. Well, if you do get that buck, make sure he's gutted and clean before you bring him home. My God, the mess your father's put me through over the years with his hunting. Ooh, you had a ruptured disc. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Elise appeared in the doorway, opening the screen door halfway as Carol neared the entrance. Hi, folks. So he's asleep. Her formula's in the fridge, and Tom's already eaten lunch. The father and son watched as they disappeared onto the foyer. You know, Dad, if it's all the same to you, I'd just as soon get on the road. We're all packed and it's already past noon. Bobby just nodded, knowing how his son could be once he'd gotten an idea in his head. Inside the house, Elsie or Elise? I don't know. I think it's Elsie. I hope well, it doesn't matter anyways. It's not even a real name. So Elsie leaned over the safety rail of Zoe's crib. She kissed the sleeping infant tenderly as Carol looked on from the doorway, Tom Jr. on her side. Come on, Elsie, it's showtime. Her husband's voice boomed from the foyer. She straightened up, then gave her mother-in-law a look of exasperation. Walking from the room, Elise took Tom Jr. in her arms. Now you be a good little boy for your grandma and Wolfie, she instructed. Mommy go? He asked. Yeah, she answered. Then easiness of moments before returning. Mommy go bye-bye. 12:45 p.m. Tom and Elise were all too familiar with the snarls of stop-and-go traffic at the 605 freeway, like most Southern Californians had learned to take it in stride. Yummy deer meat. I've never had deer. I've smelt it cooking and I don't like it. I don't like the smell of it. In the forefront of Tom's mind was the freedom this long weekend had come to represent. Shuttling between jobs at the Norfolk State Hospital and ongoing construction in Long Beach had left him tapped out emotionally. Traffic budgets, unions, Jesus, the list of problems seemed endless. Yet, here he was about to break loose from the tentacles of LA. Was loose the familiarity and calm of the Mojave. And underlying it all, he thought, the smile of anticipation passing over his lips was the buck. Totally unlike the day to day bureaucracy he'd become embroiled with in the state and local governments at work. Here was his chance to hit the mark, to crack that sucker and take him out once and for all. He's determined. You don't like the smell, but it's good. Cover with onions and roast till done. Remove from oven. Throw meat out and eat the onions. Yeah, you would get used to it. Have you had buffalo before, triple threat? Throw it out and eat the onions. He glanced momentarily to Elise, who was locked in her own re- uh, reveries of kids and how she and Tom had finally decided on the trip. It was the Thursday before, she recalled, when his parents, who lived in Barstow, offered to babysit for them. They'd gone to dinner at Rosita's, a neighborhood restaurant, when after two margaritas, Tom broke the news. The week before, he'd missed the opportunity of a lifetime, he told her, and wanted desperately to go after that buck. What's more, he was leaving this weekend and wanted her to come along. He's obsessed with this damn buck. You grew up on it, so you love it. Ellie's first response was no, on principle, because she generally disliked the idea of tracking some poor animal through the desert, then killing it. Yeah, I agree with her. But Tom could be persuasive and felt guilty about leaving her home for the weekends back to back. Point is, it doesn't have to be just hunting, he promised. There's Simidome, Tabletop Mountain, Mitchell Caverns. I tell you, Elise, starting down from the top of those mountains is like standing on the edge of the world. No doubt he was right. There wasn't anyone she knew who understood more about the Mojave than Tom. So, given the fact that his parents had already agreed to take the kids and that she would use a break from the house anyway, she agreed. Elise gazed out from the passenger window. They were headed east on I-15. Already the roadside was taking on the tan, barren look of the desert. Nice of my folks to watch the kids like this, eh, babe? Awful nice, said Elise, stretching her long arms to the truck stop and yawning. I just hope they behave, especially Thomas. He's at that age all right in everything. Yep, but lately it's more than that. Something different I've been noticing. I'm not sure what. Elise reached behind in the front seat and into the cooler for a can of Coke. She pulled open the flip top, then took a sip. You like that? The buffalo, yeah. My mother-in-law made chili with moose. She didn't think I would notice the how red the moose was. I didn't eat it. Yeah. I mean, I think you would know because it always tastes gamey, I find, no matter what you do, right? You didn't until you worked for a native tribe for 13 years. Yeah, I can't blame you there, Triple. You threw up. Oh shit. You know how close we are, especially since he was sick with that heart problem. Yeah. Well, you may not believe this, but lately I could tell what he's thinking. Honest. And know what else? He can tell what I'm thinking too. Even before we speak. He looks at me and I know what he understands. We just do it or get it with no words exchanged. We just know. Tom took a gulp of soda, then depressed the gas pedal down to the floor as traffic became non existent. I suppose that most moms feel that way about their kids. No, not like this, Tom. It's deeper than that. It's in his eyes, and just not the same at all with Zoe. Hey, I believe you, Tom said, seeing the seriousness in her eyes. Honest, I'm just a guy trying to shoot a deer this week. Yes. He has a shot. Oh my God, him and that fucking deer. Overspent budgets, town council meetings, clairvoyant kids, all of it 50 miles away and likely to get a lot farther. He bent down to produce a glass jar filled with quarters from beneath the truck seat. But in case you forgot, this is vacation. I thought we might stop at Whiskey Pete's to try our luck at the slots before we turn in for the night at Mid Hills. The gravity of Elisa's concern seemed to lift like fog in the midday sun. She leaned over to give him a quick peck on the cheek. Sounds fine to me, she rebelled, taking a swig of Coke. It would be cold work for one, yeah. Let's take these quarters and go win us some money. The driving time that followed was a period of introspection for both of them. Certainly, there were times during their 5 years altogether where Elise and Tom wondered if their marriage would last, and it might not have had it not been for Elise's Mormon upbringing and devotion to family. Early along, there were the finances that left them barely able to make their rent each month. Then came baby Thomas and his hospitalization, the loss of Elise's income, and most recently, Tom's long hours on the road and at work. These moments of doubt were few and, in the long run, left them closer than ever, but there were occasions of equal intensity when both knew they were meant to spend their lives together. The birth of Zoe 5 months earlier and the last half year generally was a time like that. In fact, at this early stage of life, they had made it. Tom's work was demanding, but he'd have it no other way. Tom Jr.'s health was back 100%, and their marriage seemed to have broken through the early hurdles to be tempered, strong, and enduring. My son loves storms too. Me, not so much. Such was their disposition as they grabbed a late dinner at the steakhouse near Nipton, then crossed the border into Nevada. This was their time to let loose, and they did. Tom swigging a Coors as he played blackjack, and Elise sipping from a Long Island iced tea as she tried her hand at the slots. In the lounge, a country western band blasted Charlie Daniels' Rockabilly, which was just fine with Elise, who loved to dance and found Tom a willing partner once he'd won 150 at the tables. Listen to music, gamble, and dance to the early morning. Not a bad way for two homebodies to begin 3 days away from the rat race existence of Southern California by 2 a.m. Exhausted and $70 richer, Tom and Elise began their double back from Nevada to Mid Hills campsite some 90 miles away. Well, we won, didn't we? Elise asked, excitement on the night still with her. Yeah, we did, Tom answered, absently trying to navigate the fog and rain that shrouded the I-15. The weather sure changed. Like that in the desert, especially this time of year. Elise shivered. She folded her arms close to keep warm, peering idly from out of the passenger side window as they turned off the highway, headed toward the New York mountains. Over the past 4 hours, the temperature had dropped nearly 30 degrees, and driving wind had picked up, pelting the truck with sand as it knifed through the thick, clinging mist. An eerie chill passed through her as she gazed beyond the rafts of fog and the silhouette of volcanic formations. They rose up from the desert floor like enormous waves of earth, accentuated by occasional Joshua tree whose spiked branches jutted skyward like clawing fingers into the night. Tom had told her about the mining operations that flourished here in the 1800s and how even now this alien terrain of canyons and craters was the source of cerium, I don't know what that is, cerium, lanthanum, and dozens of other rare earths with science fiction names related to high-tech superconductivity. Her thoughts were shattered by the screeching sound of burning rubber as she was thrown forward into the dashboard. Jesus, Tom. The truck stopped dead. Sorry, we must have hit a washed out section of the road. With the fog, it's tough to see. How much farther to Mid Hills? Too far to go in this weather, he hesitated. I was thinking it might be best to pull over and get some sleep. By the morning, the sun will have burned all this fog off, and driving will be a lot easier. The high she had been on earlier had evaporated, leaving Elise tired and groggy. I suppose if that's what you think is best. Tom pulled the truck off the canyon road not 50 feet from the foothills. He exited, then made his way around as Elise climbed out in the back of the camper. Lights on, she cleared the bed while Tom surveyed the surrounding area. Tucked as they were off the road and nestled between two granite and limestone mountains, he turned, satisfied they were safe, then re-entered the truck from the back. Elise had already washed with bottled water and was sitting on the edge of the bed when Tom's bearish frame filled the back of the camper. I don't know what you have in mind, but I'm sleeping, Elise said as she began undressing. Fine by me, he muttered, setting an Ithaca 12 gauge shotgun beside him. I'm too tired to even think about it. He pondered out a moment, but tomorrow. She didn't even let him finish. Tomorrow's another day. Tom got under the sheets. Elise, who was of a different sort, could not retire so easily. Like a cat, she would explain to Tom she needed to get the feel of a place, and so she did, still battling a sense of foreboding that it seemed would not quit. She peeked from out of the camper's long horizontal side window beyond the rugged desert brush along the foothills. Her eyes traveled straight up, jutting mountainside to the volcanic peaks that shone like castle spikes above the dense fog. She shook her head at the unreality of it all and was about to comment on it to Tom when she realized he was asleep. She smiled warmly at the sight of her exhausted husband snoring, gun in the ready, her own sleeping sentry. At last, Elise pulled the curtains close. She flicked off the interior light and was about to crawl beneath the covers when she felt a chilling sensation quite unlike any she had ever experienced. She surveyed the camper, from gas stove to backpacks to the sleeping bags, when her eyes fell upon it. The transformer. Inverted, the howling creature stood staring up at her, cold and stark as a severed appendage. If my son was a girl, his name would have been Elise. Oh yeah, I like that name. All right, chapter 2. New York Mountains, October 21st, 1989, 7:30 a.m. Pencil-thin rays of sunlight groped through the clouds, still remaining from the night before. Elise yawned and stretched lazily. From out the back window, she could see Tom was already up and around, kneeling over the gas stove, a pot of coffee brewing. He looked up and smiled. She waved and opened the tailgate from within. You looked so content, I decided not to wake you. What time is it? 7:30 or so. Want some coffee? She nodded. Slipping off her nightgown and stepping into a fresh pair of panties, Tom poured a cup of hot coffee, admiring the beauty of his wife. His chestnut brown, shoulder length her chestnut brown, shoulder length hair, unbrushed and disheveled, seemed sexy. They better not start talking about doing the do. Her body was toned and trim, and her figure nearly returned to the pre-baby days. Still athletic, he thought, a natural beauty, a fact that was driven home to him at moments like these when she was freshly awakened and without makeup. He walked toward the open tailgate, coffee in hand, as she threw on a pair of jeans and a U of Redlands sweatshirts. Aw. Doing the 2. Well, I don't care what her putting on panties. I don't know, it's a little detailed if you ask me. Care if they talked about doing the do the night before or if they're gonna do it again. Like, I just don't wanna know that, you know what I mean? Oh, don't do it. I think they're gonna do it. I'm going past if they did. "Have I ever told you lately how pretty you are?" he asked. Elise took the coffee from him. "Not often enough," she answered coyly, taking a sip. He sat on the edge of the tailgate, feeling a twinge of inadequacy at how busy his work had kept him and how physically out of shape he had become by comparison. "I know, the job has taken too much of my time. I haven't paid as much attention as I should to either you or the kids." Elise took him into her arms. They embraced. "You're a good husband, Tom. There's nothing I'd change about you." They kissed. She eased backward, then shimmied up farther into the truck, a flood of emotions rising up within her. Tom, the athlete, Tom, the historical provider who tried so hard and asked so little of everyone. This was a good man, her heart was telling her. In a quiet, unsensational way, he was everything she had ever wanted. Oh, fuck, don't do it. Tom lay down beside her. "I love you," he whispered. They kissed deeply. Like, really? Apparently they're doing it. "I love you." Tom lay down beside her. I don't know, I guess they kissed deeply. They made love in the back of their Ford camper, parked off an isolated canyon, road miles from anyone in the high desert of East Mojave. Okay, I don't need details. Don't need details. Okay, I don't think we get details. Elise brushed her reddish brown hair, looking in a mixed, sorry, looking in a mirror affixed to a curtain rod in the truck's interior as Tom began to pack up. He pulled a pair of binoculars from his backpack, then grabbed a 7 millimeter Browning rifle, all essentials to the off-road hunting they were about to begin. He made his way to the cab, hunting gear in hand, while Elise struggled with a tangle of hair. She studied herself in the mirror, finally noticing the transformer she had discovered the night before laying beside their bed. Oddly, for all the impact it had on her then, it seemed forgotten now and only vaguely real as if it had been some minor part of a lucid dream. Can you imagine they did get beamed up doing the do? She put the hairbrush down, then took the tiny toy into her hand as Tom came around again to collect the canteen. "Where did this come from?" she asked vaguely, holding the transformer up for him to see. "Tom Jr. brought it to me yesterday just before we left." "He did?" Tom, who was paying more attention to his gear than the conversation, looked up. "Yeah. What's the news in that? He's always handing me his toys so we can play together. You know that." Elise shrugged. converting the space creature to a spaceship and back again as she spoke. I don't know. It's just that I put it in the toy chest before we left. So he went in and got it while you were with Zoe. Did he say anything when he gave it to you? I mean, Tom looked at her with a mixture of surprise and annoyance. He said, "Spaceman," just the kind of thing you'd expect a 2-year-old to say when it hands you a transformer. So what's the big deal? I don't know, she stammered, putting the anxiety she felt back in the box of her subconscious. It's just these mountains, I guess, the desert, so far from everything. So strange looking, kind of gives me the creeps. Tom grinned and kissed her on the forehead. Hey, there's no need to be frightened. You're with the desert rat. The only thing you got to worry about is what we're going to do with all the venison once I bag that deer I've been telling you about. He's going to annoy me with this deer. Elise agreed. The brave trooper. She kissed him back, then left the camper, Tom watching as she walked beyond the foothills to the edge of the precipice where she flung the transformer as far as she could. What? You threw his fucking toy? That's not very nice. Strangely gratified, she watched as the tiny creature dropped thousands of feet down the desert valley below. It was gone. She thought then, gone and out of their lives forever. There must be something with that toy. I don't know what, but within the hour, the camper was making its way along the rugged dirt road between New York and Providence Mountains. The weather was clear and sunny, now a cool 70 degrees and the air fresh and frothy, cleansed after last night's rain. Tom took the truck over back roads toward the Mid Hills camping grounds, off roading, hunting up the main roads as Elsie, the scout, peered through binoculars, searching for buck and bighorned sheep. Is that one? Asked Elsie, pointing out some 75 yards north of them. Tom reached for the binoculars, easing his foot from the accelerator. He scrutinized the area as she continued to point beyond the grayish brown desert scrub to a cluster of yucca plants and the shadow of a juniper tree that fell upon it. That's no deer, it's a juniper tree. Shadows can fool you. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it was a toy. It was a transformer. But she's talking about like it's some alien thing. So like turned into a car, but the shape of it was, yeah, it was green, like alien. She took the binoculars back, then looked as if to confirm his judgment. I guess you're right, she concluded, putting the binoculars down on the truck seat. It all seems to blend it, doesn't it? At first, but the desert has much life in it as anywhere else. Just more subtle, but the different life forms, all working together to survive. He pointed to another clump of trees and plant life. Take that Joshua tree. That tree gives shelter to desert wood rats, squirrels, and the like. Birds like shriek and pinyon jays make their nests in its branches. Lizards and desert tortoises get protection from the sun and the shade of its base. Okay, we're getting a lesson. Even the yuccas that surround it kick in because yucca moth fertilize the tree's flowers, whose seeds later become its food. All of it subtle, but there if you know what to look for. So, why do you want to alter the ecology by killing helpless desert deer? Tom leapt to her, embracing himself. It was a discussion they'd had before. I've been hunting with my dad since I can remember, Elise. Hunt or be hunted. That's the way it is. On the other hand, maybe we're just as much a part of the ecology as any other animal. Maybe hunters are part of what keeps it in balance. And who hunts us? She challenged. He reached toward his 7 millimeter, wrapping his fingers around the midpoint of its barrel. No one, he answered, giving his best smart-ass grin, because we've got the brains and the weapons to get them first. The two continued back roading south, through the high desert woodlands honeycombed with abandoned mines and ghost towns to the Basin Range Turin, with its flat-top peaks and bone-dry riverbeds leading to the Providence Mountains. Occasionally, Tom would stop the truck to hunt on foot, leaving Elise to relax in the back of the camper with a Coke or a cup of coffee. By early afternoon, with the temperature having risen into the 80s, they found themselves near a point of Tom's choosing, beyond Mid Hills, just north of Mitchell Caverns. It's getting hot. Deer tend to be active dawn to noon, then settle down until it cools off around 3 or so. Tom pulled out a desert access guide, spreading it across the front seat. As I see it, we're here, he offered, pointing to an area just off Black Canyon Road. If we head up here toward Forche Pass, we can have lunch at a place I think you might like. What place? He raised his palms in the air, staving off the inquiry. It's a surprise. Oh, is it? You got hail? Oh, wow. With that, they made their way back into the main road, departing as quickly for a dirt path as rugged and overgrown as any they traveled earlier. Up the Providence Mountains, they drove beyond Forche Pass to elevation of nearly 7,000 feet, where at last they stopped. Tom left the camper carrying a blanket and cooler filled with soda and sandwiches. Elise followed, binoculars hanging from the leather strap around her neck, both ready for some sunshine and a leisurely picnic. Tom walked up ahead of the final 20 yards, stopping at the brink of what must have been a drop of 5,000 feet or more. He had put the cooler down and was spreading the blanket when Elise arrived. So, what do you think? Unbelievable, she marveled, her Reeboks making a semicircle in the sand as she aced her way around to view the panorama of volcanic formations in the desert floor that lay before them. It's like the entire Mojave is right here at our feet. Marble hail? I know, he answered excitedly. Over at that way rising up from the ground, like an inverted saucer, is a 75-mile volcanic foundation called Dome, the most perfect natural sphere in the world. He sidled up next to her, pointing, and just west of that is cinder cones. You see those peaks shooting out of the ground like that? They're actually extinct volcanoes. Some of them formed less than 1,000 years ago. She craned her head around to him, still cradled in his arms. What else? Elise asked, impressed. What else do you know? Well, there's more, like how the East Mojave was formed 150 million years ago, the result of a fantastic volcanic eruptions. You'd never know it now, dry as it is, but not so long ago, this entire area was covered with rivers and lakes. There's still all kinds of prehistoric fossils around, but then the weather became hotter and drier, and just about everything that was alive shriveled away and died. Darwinian, huh? Darwinian, survival of the fittest? Exactly, Tom agreed. Most life forms vanished, but not all. The Indians migrated, the plant life, insects, and animals that learned how to change, to adapt, thrived. It was life, but not life of another kind. Elise handed Tom a sandwich and a Coke, then stood, drawing a deep breath as she took in the most dramatic view she had ever seen. Well, you're right about one thing. Being here is like standing on the edge of the world. 1:30 p.m. After lunch, Tom and Elise spent the next 3 hours road hunting, moving in general direction of the Mid Hills campground. By 5:30, with their prospects for the day fading, they decided to pack it in and prepare to make camp. Far from the 80-degree heat at midday, the weather had again done about face. Such a weird saying. So the weather had again done an about face, with temperatures dropping back into the 50s, the wind picking up steadily. Sweatshirts and jackets on once again, Tom took the truck west into Black Canyon Road. Mid Hills, so named because of its location between the Providence and New York mountains, was maintained by the Bureau of Land Management, said to appeal to those wanting to get away from it all. The description seemed an exercise in understatement to Elise as they turned onto Wild Horse Canyon Road. Still, Mid Hills boasted some of the most distinctive mountain ranges in the Mojave, a couple of dozen well spaced campsites. Even more important to Elsie, there were outhouse restrooms, a convenience she had insisted upon at the outset. Elisa's eyes scanned the roadside foliage, stunned at the sudden and dramatic changes she was observing. Within a few miles, the terrain had turned from the lake bed desert to woodlands, overgrown and pinyon pine and juniper. Slowly, the camper wended its way around the crowded campground where Tom and Elise searched for an open spots. Damn, I can't believe it, Tom cursed. I've been coming here for 20 years and I've never seen it full up like this. Well, it is, Elise was quick to confirm, surveying the 30 or more trucks and campers parked around them. There's not even a bad space available. Son of a bitch, he muttered, catching a sight of a BLM Ranger. Then, pulling the truck over, he rolled down his side window. Ranger, he called out, gaining his attention. We're down here all the way from LA. You have anything available? The young bearded man ambled over to the driver's side. Sorry, unusual this time of year, but we don't have a thing. Couldn't fit a bicycle in here tonight. Tom grimaced he'd blown it. Instead of whiskey Pete's and road hunting, he should have gotten his ass to Mid Hills first thing, then proceeded from there. Every single one of these people are, oh my God, you're right. All right, officer, I guess we're on our own. He rolled up his window. Already he faced the reality of their spending another night in the camper without facilities. Now he had to face Elise. Tom rubbed his palm over his face thoughtfully. Inside him was an anger within himself, but deeper still, a sense of resourcefulness and, yes, even adventure. The place where Wolfie, Ron, and I saw the buck last week is about 20 miles from here out toward Tabletop Mountain. It's in a valley bound by the tabletop and another smaller range. It's not dark yet. If we were to head there, out that way now, it would make a perfect campsite and we'd sure have our privacy. Elise scoffed. Privacy, my God, Tom. I already feel like we're in the middle of nowhere. Hey, Alberta. No, don't be sorry. She's not a bot, she's a lurker. It's up to you, but one way or the other, we're not going to be in any campground, not tonight anyway. She took a deep breath. Well, you're the desert rat. If you think it's the best place we can find, I suppose we should go. Elise folded her arms tight around her, sure sign she was annoyed. Tom noted as they exited Mid Hills Campground for Black Canyon Road. Scared me, cat. I see this black thing running. Well, I meant like that, like the flash. Here it is, my cat. Oh, you're putting up more videos? It won't be so bad. Wolfie and I camp out like this all the time. Even your brother more than once. If you look at it from the positive side, we'll be there the first thing in the morning, well rested and ready to go. Besides, I've got a steak and a bottle of wine that'll go pretty well together for dinner tonight. Elise giggled. He put his arm around her as she slid over toward him, and they traveled at a 40-mile-per-hour clip south to Black Canyon Wash. Tom slowed the truck, then took a left onto the rocky, crater-ridden trail. I can't wait till we get to the aliens. Will you get your zoomies over? Tom saw the truck, then took a left onto the rocky crater-ridden trail, scattered about and separated by hundreds of acres with several ranch houses that Tom had passed during previous trips. But other than those, there was little sign of civilization, except an occasional no trespassing sign posted by landholders. Elise swallowed hard as dust settled in along with the chilling and unrelenting wind. Look, Tom blurted suddenly. See them out in the front of us? Quail, a whole flock of them. You love it when the animals get the zoomies. Me too. I think it's hilarious. Oh, yes, the one that's got the zoomies right now, Ash, the black one, he's a mouser. Huge mouser. He gets them all. The other two cats are females and they don't get to get mice. He gets them, no matter what. He's the boss. He stopped the camper cold in his tracks. What are you doing? Tom plucked his 12 gauge from out of the gun rack behind them. Quail season opened yesterday. I'm going to shoot us some dinner. Yuck. Without wasting a precious moment, he flung open the truck door, jumping out to the roadside as the covey of birds ran for cover. Perfect, he whispered to himself, carefully taking aim. Tom, he heard Elsie's voice calling. Tom, his eyes diverted. Please don't shoot them. What? Please, I'm asking you not to shoot them. Deer are one thing, but not them, not these quail. Again, he took aim, then watched through his gun sight as they passed out of range. If you don't beat all, he muttered, returning the shotgun to the side and re entering the truck. Words were few and far between as they crawled along the Black Canyon wash to a series of unnamed trails leading to Woods Mountain. Are you sure you know where you're going? Tom just stared at her. I guess that means yes. He nodded. Well, it looks to me like the last people to go down these trails in what were in covered wagons. Still no response. She leaned over and pecked him on the cheek. Thanks for not shooting those poor birds. Golf ball. Holy crap. Yeah, get that car in the garage if you got one. He grunted. I don't suppose I'm here to shoot quail, but I'm telling you now, if that buck comes within 10 miles of me tomorrow, he's a goner. Do you understand me? That stupid buck. Understood, she said, shuddering at the cold and prospects of trucking along these uncharted back roads in the dark. Tom flicked on the headlights as night began to fall, and the radiance of a bright crescent moon became visible above them. Well, it may be a little chilly, but sure clear as can be. Yeah, good thing too, with these trails in the shape they are. How much farther? Not far at all, as a matter of fact, he said, turning the wheel sharply to the left and stopping at the lip of the woods wash. The place we'll be spending the night is right down there. He put his brights on, helping to eliminate the desert basin between Tabletop and Wood Mountains. It's a valley, Elise uttered, a shiver passing through her bloodstream, like jagged particles of ice. Yeah, a valley, like I told you before. Tom did not notice the strength of emotion in her voice, nor the persuasive fear she was fearing, but a queer unspoken notion passed through her mind as they began their descent down the craggy mountainside. It came from a distant part of her subconscious, framed in a scene from an old movie she had seen years ago as a child. To her now, it was as if they were entering the valley of Little Big Horn. He's obsessed with them. That's all he hears is damn buck. Now we're on chapter 3. When the hell is this abduction? I want to. I have to wait till chapter 2? No. Oh, it's coming up. You had a call today telling me about my car's extended warranty. I haven't driven or had a car in 23 years. Don't you love that, Nun Nun? Behind Tabletop Mountain, October 21st, 1989. So we're still on the same day, 7:30 p.m. Wolfie had made a lot of right decisions in his day, but buying a two-wheel drive Ford pickup instead of a 4 wasn't one of them. Not only was the truck struggling to make it down the rocky mountainside, but Tom knew he needed to be especially careful when he reached the canyon base, where laced amid the desert floor was a wash of soft silt created by generations of rain and erosion. A trip into one of those would be one way. He was thinking as they forged their way downward, the piercing rays of its high beams sending droves of small game scurrying for cover. Are you sure you know where you're going? Asked Ellie suddenly. What's that supposed to mean? Tom navigated the camper through an obstacle course of cholla gardens, sagebrush, and piles of granite rock. It means that I'm nervous about camping out here all by ourselves like this. Last night was one thing, but God, Tom, anything could happen to us out here. I should read audiobooks. I get calls offering me a better interest rate on my mortgage. I asked if they can beat 0%. My home has been paid for. Oh my God. Don't you just love that? You gonna get the zoomies? No zooms? Just you? All right. Where the hell am I? He pulled the truck into a well-protected belt of high ground near the base of Woods Mountain. With a smaller range to the truck's back, directly facing them, some 500 yards across the desert basin, stood Tabletop Mountain. Its huge flat-top configuration towering nearly 7,000 feet, like some strangely truncated pyramid. Why would you be nervous? I mean, what could go wrong? Well, you're going to get abducted. That could be what's going to go wrong. It's weird how the wife's already got a feeling for it. Like she knows something's going to happen. But yourself, come here. Come on. Come on. Can't just hit people. Does anybody got a cat that hits people? Like me? She hits me. Tom switched off the ignition. Elise looked straight ahead to the huge granite mountain bathed in starlight, so bright you could read a book by it. Rapists, she answered without thinking. Tom winced. You're joking. No, I'm not joking. She blurted, a vague sense of hysteria rising up in her voice. There could be intruders, like a motorcycle gang or something. They could rape me and kill you, and no one would even know about it. He started laughing, but stopped suddenly, smitten by her chilling gaze. Okay, I'm sorry. I know it's possible, Elise, but I protect you, and I swear you'd be 100, no, 1,000 times more likely to get assaulted in LA. So what do you say? Let's set up for camp, forget about all that other stuff, and enjoy ourselves. Lisa's lips contracted into a small, thin slit, as if to suck in and contain the premonition of danger that had haunted her since the weekend began. Yeah, come over here. Okay, just can't go on the laptop. There you go, princess. Great, now I missed my spot. You're right, she answered in a small voice. I don't know what's been happening to me lately. I'm so sensitive about everything. Well, for one, you're pregnant, lady. Tom dug a fire pit in the sandy ground, not 20 feet from the camper, then lined it with rocks while Elise brewed a pot of coffee on the gas stove set atop their open tailgate. The temperature was again dropping. Tom noticed as he collected branches and juniper logs from the surrounding thickets. Campfire would be a nice touch and would keep them warm in the later night. But when they'd want to snuggle under a blanket, roasting marshmallows and drinking wine. He smiled to himself, considering that picture in his mind. As much as the buck he'd come after, as much as the buck to capture, he thought then. No, as much as the buck he'd come after, that was the moment he wanted most to capture, he thought then. The two of them huddled together beside a campfire, the desert sky so clear you could see beyond the stars straight through to the very soul of the universe. I think she just wants to be center of attention. The pile of dry kindling and woods burst into flames the moment Tom put a match to it. He he admired his handiwork momentarily before making his way to the back of the camper where Elise had already taken refuge. She sat inside, now wearing a windbreaker, sipping from a steaming cup of coffee. Tom took a container in hand and poured himself a cup. Fire started. All that's left for you to do is enjoy your coffee. I'll cook up some steak and beans. Later on, we can roast marshmallows. Elise smiled. You take care of me pretty well, don't you? Damn straight, he shot back, opening a can of beans and emptying into a pot. So, what do you think the kids are doing right now? Tom laid the two New York strip steaks across an oversized frying pan, sizzling with butter. I want that damn steak. Well, what time is it? Did I miss a spot? Nope, I did not. Well, what time is it? He asked, glancing at his Timex Sportsman. 7:30. I figure Zoe's asleep and Thomas is driving. My parents crazy. Elise chuckled. Probably spoiling him rotten. Ever notice how hyper Tom Jr. is after they watch him? That's because he and Wolfie sit around all day eating ice cream and chocolate together. Yeah, they're like two old pals. I'm not sure whether Wolfie's a bad influence on Tom or if Tom Jr. is a bad influence on Wolfie, but they're a pair, all right. He reached inside the camper for a Coleman lantern. Geez, it's dark. Can hardly see what I'm doing. Tom lit the Coleman lantern. He reached to place it atop the camper shell, then paused for an instant to comprehend the odd tingling sensation that crept like a chill up the base of his spine. They're coming, guys. Yes, it's giving me weird vibes too. Do you want me to change it to a different one? I just wanted to freak you guys out. All right, so now he's making yeah, it freaked me out too. Like it's if I saw it, I'd believe it type thing, you know? Definitely. My hair's still half wet from my shower, so it's like kind of what I mean. Yeah, that's what I would think they look like. So Tom paused for an instant to comprehend the odd tingling sensation that crept like a chill up from the base of his spine. All at once, and without apparent cause, he felt that someone was watching. He was about to make a joke of it. Here they were, not another human being within 15 miles, and he felt they were being spied on. Funny, except that he had had that same feeling once before, but only once. He remembered as a chilling tingle piled its way through him until his entire body was left quaking in cold sweat terror. Yeah, it is weird vibes. Cautiously, on the precipice of some nightmarish chasm, Tom glanced over his left shoulder. Relief there was nothing, the base of the mountain. But then, as if drawn by some sixth sense, his eyes traveled up the sheer mountainside, still farther, all the way to the top, stopping at a sight that left him falling, tumbling into a bottomless pit of horror. Like an atomic flash, the memory of a 1975 sighting erupted. Huh? Oh, like an atomic flash, the memory of a 1975 sighting erupted. It happened 14 years earlier while vacationing with his parents at Lake Mojave. But in that instant, the entire experience returned to him in a tidal wave of sensation. The cut on his face smarting, the pounding of his heart like a time bomb set his ribcage, the frantic race to the safety of his parents' campsite. Young Keith's panic and his own raging terror. Who fucks Keith? I don't know. He had seen that light, that object before. Oh, wow. 30 feet in diameter, pulsating its brilliance, a radiance that illuminated his most unsettling dreams and deepest subconscious fears since childhood. Oh, yes, somebody needs to help her. Absolutely. It's so hard for me to even look at her. It's makes me feel sick looking at her. She's just it's bones. It's all bones. He did a double take. He felt it and it sensed him. because the instant his eyes fell upon it, the object dropped behind the mountain, attempting to hide from him. Tom, Tom, what's the matter? The steaks, they're burning. He fumbled ineptly with the frying pan, his hands clumsy, as tender hooks nearly knocking off the stovetop. Nothing. He turned the steaks over. A falling star is all. I just saw it. I was just watching it now. You're sure you're okay? Elise puzzled over his sudden look of distress, even as Tom worried about her. He'd say nothing of it, pretend everything was normal. How could he do otherwise? Through some extraordinary intuition, she was already petrified of what might happen. What else would something so harmless as Tom Jr.'s transformer bother her? What about the morbid fear of rape and murder and the rest? No, it was this place to protect Elise from all of what he was now feeling. Besides, there could be explanations other than an extra, sorry. Besides, there could be explanations other than a UFO craft. Maybe he imagined it. Maybe what he had spotted was an experimental military plane from Knowles or another of the nearby bases. Certainly, the least likely of any of these was some kind of spaceship. Hadn't he spent the better part of his adult life trying to forget what he was certain he'd seen at Lake Mojave 14 years earlier? This night, as a married man and father of two, he struggled in quiet desperation to convince himself it was all some kind of mistake then and now. So it's back. So am I. I'm amazed at that too. He glanced again, then again to the mountain peak, some 1,000 feet above, but there was nothing further to be seen, just a sheer granite and limestone mountain, blankly, stoically, rising up from the desert floor. Tom collected the steaks onto a platter, then walked to the campfire where Elise had set two plates, two sets of eating utensils, and two glasses on a blanket. He placed the platter near the center where Elise sat huddled close to the campfire, silently knowing what he had seen could not be explained away. More. Jack, don't do that when I'm reading stuff like this. Shiny your glasses. It is Nanan, yeah. Yeah, he was there before. He was a teenager and seen that. He forgot about it. And now he was reminded because he just seen it again. That's crazy. He placed the platter near the center where Elise huddled close to the fire. Um, that behind Woods Mountain, some 200 feet from where they camped, still lurked something. It hadn't left, and wouldn't he suspected, though, he could not be certain why. He skewered a steak, placing on the plate in front of her. Next, he served the ranch beans and French bread, then sat down beside her. Not talking much about your buck lately. Did you forget about him? No, no, I haven't forgotten. Just biding my time till morning when we start again. I would have left. Oh, hey, Teresa. It's okay. It's not, there wasn't anything happening in this book yet. We're just now getting to the UFO part. Elise savored over her steak as Tom opened a bottle of Chardonnay. They poured two glasses full. You know, having a meal outside like this is kind of special. She took a sip, then snuggled next to him. I don't think I've ever seen a night so clear. Deserts like that, no pollution, so the stars seem brighter and a lot closer, like its own world out here. And noisy. I always thought the desert was quiet at night, but just listen to all these sounds. They found themselves listening. Indeed, the nighttime desert was of dissonance, the steady buzz of insects and rustling of small game, punctuated only occasionally by a coyote's piercing howl. Yeah, they make a racket all right. And though you can't see them, there are animals all around us right now. It's in the brush over there, he said, motioning to the right, near the base of the mountain and all through this valley. What kinds of animals? Asked Elise. Donkeys, coyotes, kangaroo rats, you name it. And don't forget bighorn sheep and mule deer. I would be so scared. They've got to spend the night somewhere. My guess is they're here in the valley, not far from us right now. Elise made a face. Rats? Tom tore a piece of bread from the loaf, then tossed it near the foot of a large mesquite tree. Within seconds, a platoon of kangaroo rats were leaping toward it, biting tiny pieces and trying to carry it away back into the sagebrush with them. What the hell's a kangaroo rat? Oh, sweet. I can't wait to see it, Alberta. Yes, I do too, Nun Nun. Absolutely. That's exactly what I think. Absolutely. Elise laughed for the first time since the night they'd spent at Whiskey Pete's. Even Tom managed to chuckle, the gnawing anxiety of the moments before flying from him at the sight of the strange-looking rodents tugging and pulling at the wad of bread. They're not really rats. Not the kind you'd find in the city, anyway. More like squirrels, except they hop instead of run, like little kangaroos. Okay, you just answered my. They are large rat that have fairly large, and apparently they friggin' hop. He made chicken al pastor and is in the oven cooling on. Now I'm even more hungry. I'll heat it back up later. I am going to make coconut lime rice and make burrito bowls later. My schedule's so messed up. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I wish you'd get your sleep back, girl. They hop just like kangaroos. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up after. Oh, Leland, I'm gonna get a copyright claim. Can you turn that down, please? Thank you. He took a gulp of wine and then tossed another piece of bread, anxious to gain even these few seconds of respite from the macabre truth he held, but could not yet bring himself to acknowledge. Together they laughed now as the kangaroo rats leapt and jumped, scrambling to earn their daily bread. Hey, said Elise suddenly, how about those marshmallows? Tom nodded. You get the marshmallows from the truck, I'll get the sticks to roast them on. Tom made his way toward the nearby mesquite tree. He pulled a pencil thin twig from a branch. Could it be that somehow, some way, he had been mistaken in what he thought he'd seen? Like this bastard, if he actually seen something, he needs to get her the hell out of there now. They have giant tails and hop like kangaroos. They're very fast. Oh my gosh. Hey, Wolfie. Not call you Wolfie. His eyes drifted up toward the crest of Woods Mountain. He knew in his mind and heart that he had seen something and felt something unearthly. So why now did it seem so distant? How could he doubt now what he had seen with his own eyes such a short time before? Tom at least called from inside the beside the campfire. His head jerked away from the mountaintop as if his eyes had been glued to it. I'll be right there, he replied, regaining his composure, then briskly walking toward the campfire. He handed her a twig. She put it through the center of one of the marshmallows and placed it over the fire. Tom followed suit. You must know a lot about the stars, she said, looking out onto the ebony sky. What with Wolfie working at Goldstone for all these years? Wolfie's an electrician at tracking station, not an astronomer, but I know a little. It's a hobby of his that rubbed off. What? But I know a little. It's a hobby of his that kind of rubbed off. Okay. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. Yes, I still. Oh Jesus, my hair. I still would eat marshmallows off sticks. I don't care. Do you know the constellations like Ursa Minor, Orion, and all those? He took his brown marshmallow from out of the fire, then nipped at it. Yeah, some. Wolfie, my mom, and me used to make a game of it, like out here. He said, pointing across the valley over the top of the tabletop mountain to Aries. What constellation is that? Elise studied the grouping of the stars for a moment, the glow of the blazing campfire illuminating her face as she shook her head in the negative. I don't know which. That's Aries, the ram. You see how the stars connect? You've got to use your imagination, but it's there. Well, it doesn't look like a ram to me. Sometimes the stars don't look like anything like what they're supposed to. In ancient times, people thought they were fixed in the ceiling of a dome with humans at the center, so they'd use constellations as symbols to remind people of some significant event or an important king or something. Like Leo the lion, the constellation doesn't look like a lion, but when it was named, the summer sun was in the part of the sky and the heat was fierce as a lion. Get it? This guy knows a lot. Germs made them taste good. Really? They all call you Wolfie? Okay. Because there's a Wolfie in here too. Um, I would love some homemade chicken pot pie. Oh, I'm sorry, Wolfie. At least pointing to the northern sky. Which is that? I'm not sure. Pegasus, I think. Elise popped a marshmallow into her mouth. How about that? She asked, pointing beyond the horizon. That's Algol, the demon star, part of Perseus. Algol is the biggest and brightest because it's a double star. If you had a telescope, you could see the two of them revolving around each other. Elise turned to her left, eyes rating the sky above Woods Mountain. Well, if that's a double star, there must be triples because they're a lot bigger and brighter than that. Tom chortled at Lisa's sense of wonderment at it all. Starstruck as a child, he was thinking as he twisted around to his left and gazed into the horizon just above the 1,000-foot mountain. His sense of shock was physical, like a deer he had once gutted. He could feel the cold steel of a hunting knife splaying him open from sternum to crotch. In the sky, some 200 yards to the right, straight up and set like a diamond studs in the ceiling of a dome, were nine objects, shining so intensely they created daylight around them. I would shit. "What are they, Tom?" asked Elise naively. "They can't be stars, can they?" Tom squirmed. It was as if someone had knocked the wind out of him. His face was sheet white and his hands were shaking. "Weather balloons," he bluffed, citing the first explanation that popped into his mind. Why would you lie to your wife? He's bad. He's wanted to roughhouse. That's so funny when that bird does that. Weather balloons my ass. Well, Lisa's face had twisted with skepticism. "But look," she exclaimed, pointing excitedly. "They look like mylar. See how shiny? And they must be connected," she uttered with a sudden sense of awe, "because they're moving together like pearls on a string." "That would fit," Tom lied in a hollow voice ringing with terror as his eyes riveted to the black ceiling sky. He could feel its presence forming like some hideously misshapen figure at the outer fringes of his consciousness. They were back, he thought, and his guts were hanging out of his wide open belly. Maybe they're balloons, balloons connected by some kind of weird wire or cable. Elise shook her head no, even as she said yes. "Well, okay, you're the desert rat, but they don't look like weather balloons to me." Tom walked to the back of the camper, eyes never diverting from the nine glowing orbs. He poured himself a cup of coffee, then walked back to the campfire where Elise sat sipping wine and watching. That's funny. You guys have sisters named Teresa and Kimberly. That's really cool. 9:13 p.m. An eerie quiet fell over the camp. Tom completed loading up the truck and heading back toward Mid Hills, but the roughness of the surrounding terrain precluded leaving until daybreak, and that made him edgy. Every bone in his body told him there was no status quo to a situation like this, that the objects would not just freeze in the sky, then simply go away. But that is exactly what they did. There was no motion, no change in size or color, just interminable watching for them to make a move, for this lull before the storm to give way to a series of events whose prospect had tormented him since childhood. Still, it was not in Tom's nature to fear or to yield, as if these objects had come to harm Elise or him. They would be in for a fight. He bowed silently, a battle to death if it came to that. If he's feeling that, he should have friggin' left. That's making me mad. To Elise, the objects represented something else. Again, unaware of Tom's early sighting of the UFO and the emotions it had stirred, she viewed their presence as a curiosity, a celestial phenomenon, perhaps, weather balloons or some experimental craft, or something far more terrifying, invasion. For weeks, banner headlines had been proclaiming a mountain instability in Soviet controlled Eastern Europe. Mass demonstrations and rioting in Hungary, Poland, and East Germany had created a total destabilizing world order. Could these lights, these craft that had found their way into the night sky above them have something to do with that? Literally in the middle of nowhere, how could they know what had gone on in the world during the past 24 hours? Elise sipped wine as Tom's vigilant stare remained fixed without a word passing between them until they're blinking. They're blinking, Elise reported, blinking to one another like in some kind of communication. She turned to Tom, suddenly bug eyed. "They're not stars and they're not weather balloons." Tom didn't answer. He couldn't. Instead, he studied the nine craft flashing what appeared to be coded messages, one to the other, sometimes slowly, and at other times together in a rapid succession. I wonder if they like the lights know Morse code. Alrighty, Sally, have a good night. Could be experimental craft. Nolly's Air Force Base, 29 Palms, and the Marine Training Corps aren't that far from here. It could be anything, maybe, but something is very funny about this, and I don't like it. She put down her wine glass, inadvertently spilling it across the blanket. Look at them, Tom. They're sending signals, all right. She expounded, pointing now with both hands, but they position themselves directly on top of us. Yeah, so I'm wondering if they have some sort of a Morse code that humans would understand. I also think that people who have this experience, even if they want to flee or run, that something or someone, yes, I too agree with that. And then, yes, absolutely. They're right on top of them. I don't know. Oh my God, I would be so scared. I'm scared reading it. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Tom sat, watching, observing, his heart racing frantically beneath his stolid, expressionless exterior. The old adversary had returned. Like an unfinished match, they had come to challenge and test him. Like a predator with its quarry, they were toying with him. He was thinking as the flashing signals began to intensify. Then suddenly, without a sound, and in a lapse of time so brief it seemed instantaneous, the glowing objects vanished. All nine, and it was stunning. Heck yeah, they're more advanced. Yeah, like sleep. Yeah, exactly. Tom and Elise searched the desert sky, then froze. Their mouths hung open and their bodies became suddenly rigid, as if atrophied with fear and wonder. Just west of them, perhaps 400 yards away, and several thousand feet up, the nine craft had repositioned themselves on the horizon just over the crest of the mountain range in the form of a large sprawling M. Tom, I'm scared. Things like this aren't supposed to happen, even if it's the military. Elise became suddenly animated. Maybe we shouldn't be seeing this. Maybe they're doing some kind of secret exercises. I'm afraid. And I don't ask me why, but I'm afraid. They know we're here and we're somehow a part of all of this. That's crazy that she knew. I don't know, Tom answered, but I've got a gun, two of them. If it's the military, they may know we're here, but won't bother us. Elsie reached for him. She held his face between the flat of both her hands. You said if it's the military, like you don't think it is. If it's not the military, our military, what could it be? A lot of things, I guess. The simplest explanation is military testing. I've read about them doing nighttime exercises, desert training, and the like. At 29 palms. He stared deep into her eyes, but whatever it is, please don't be frightened. Hey, they're on our side, remember? It's people like you and me that pay their goddamn salaries. I can't believe he's lying to her like this. I mean, you just got yeeted. YouTube just, whoa. My son has had it, and it's the most terrifying thing he said has ever happened to him besides seeing a rake. I don't know. He's poor bastard's got a poor bastard's being treated this. My wonderful son. Poor guy's got my anxiety, and he's like got my gifts, I guess I don't know. I don't think they're gifts. But yeah, he senses things. I've never had sleep paralysis, but he has. He's had it, I think he said twice now. That's weird that booted you out. He gave her a look of reassurance and a nervous laugh, then looked up from the valley basin to the sky once again. Holy shit, he whispered. Elsie grabbed his upper arm and squeezed it so tightly she could feel the bone. My God, the bastard, she uttered in disbelief. The sky above them, okay, that's where I got bastard from. The sky above them, their entire nighttime sky, was now filled with hundreds of shiny objects, flashing signals to one another. Hundreds? Hundreds. Ooh, there you go, guys. My son is Catholic as well, and I'm thinking I'm gonna keep that so I don't forget, and I'm gonna tell him. Nah, you're not crazy. A lot of people suffer from that, and that's where I can get into the whole I'm not going to, but like the incubus and the succubus. Ugh, look that up. That's some scary shit. Together they sat, holding each other, too frightened to move, too frightened until it began, slowly at first, like parachutes floating, free falling downwards, so gracefully, so easily that it seemed indiscernible at first. So they stared, captivated by the prospects as dozens, no, hundreds, of the glowing white objects traveled like falling stars down and across the black onyx sky. Subtle, graceful, beautiful in their way, the round and shining orbs were descending upon them. The valley was, in fact, being invaded. I would shit! Oh my god. Really? That works for you too? Okay, good. I don't mean to laugh at this, but oh my God, screamed Elise. It's the Russians. The Russians are invading. The Russians get blamed for everything. I'm sorry, that was funny. The Russians are coming. Ah. No, no, Tom comforted, scrambling to his feet. It can't be. It fucking can't be, he repeated, then began kicking out the campfire. Get in the truck, he screamed to Elise finally. I'll put the fire out so they won't see us. She hesitated. He shoved her in the back of the goddamn truck, yelled at her to get her in the fucking truck. The lights were landing now, Tom observed, landing all over the valley. I know they're scared, and I don't mean to laugh, but it is a little funny. Holy shit, Kimberly. Exactly, Teresa. I'm gonna tell my son that tonight. So make the cross sign with your tongue. It's hard not to show them fear, though. It really is. I struggle with that myself. No way, none, none. That's ugh, those are scary. I feel like an asshole laughing at this, but get in the goddamn truck. The lights were landing now, Tom observed, landing all over the valley. The lights were landing, his frantic mind processed and coming toward them. But the campfire decimated. Tom grabbed Elise, who just sat there staring, and jerked her to her feet. They're coming to get us, she muttered, entranced. There's no road, no roads out there. Tom said as much to himself as to her, but they're still coming at us. He looked to Elise, who had lapsed into a state of shock, then took her by the hand as he raced around to the truck's cab, grabbing his 12 gauge Ithaca shotgun, 7 millimeter Browning rifle, and a hunting vest, looped with a dozen rounds of ammo. Tom nudged Elise away toward the back of the camper shell. Go, go, get in the truck where it's safe. He screamed. Wow, he's screaming. Lodging 2 shells in the shotgun's breech and one in the firing chamber. But Elise would not or could not leave him, though the sense of urgency jolting within her was electric. Unbelievably, the bright, glowing objects were continuing to land. Dozens and dozens, hundreds and thousands and hundreds were raining down from the now blackened dome-like sky, hitting the desert basin, then bolting forward in a steady, fast-clipped progression toward the camper. Come on, you motherfuckers, get within my range. Oh, hell no. Aw. So you do see the shadow people? Ugh. I want to do something on the shadow people as well, actually. They are scary. Yeah. Tom threatened taking a rifleman's position as Elise clung to his arm, attempting to pull him away, back into the camper shell with her. You can't do anything. You can't hurt them. There are way too many of them, and they're too advanced. Too advanced for us. She knows what they are. Tom looked to her as if emerging from a dream, suddenly aware of her tugging at his arm. Don't you hear it? Do you not hear what they're telling you? She was screaming. Oh my God. He stared down at her for a split second, not understanding. We can make a run for it, get in the truck, and haul ass out of here. No, no, you can't. There are no roads. Look at them, rushing toward us. They'd kill you and rape me. Don't you understand? You were right the first time. It's the camper, the back of the camper where they want us. Come, come on, she pleaded, pulling at his arm. Confused and convinced they had no chance of making it out of the valley, Tom followed her to the back of the camper, then inside. Quietly, Elise sat watching as Tom pulled up the tailgate, with the window down, laying the 12 gauge barrel over its metal edge, then taking aim. Nearly all of the shivering white lights had fallen from the black void that had been created and were now rushing towards them. Come on, you bastards, Tom called out in a voice that echoed across the valley, now absolutely devoid of all sound, animal, human, insect, or otherwise. Come on, come and get it. He was ranting, all of the pent up fears and emotions blaring, blasting like a volcanic eruption from out of him. I would have smacked him to shut the hell up. I'll help you with the shadow people, because I need to know too. Saging should work, yeah. Then Elise grabbed him by the arm hard. Don't do anything to hurt them. And again, the voice, don't do anything to hurt us. And now Elise pleading, put the gun down, you have no chance. Then the voice, coldly, put the gun down, you have no chance. And Elise panicked. In the end, you'll only get us killed if you try to harm them. Them, threatening in the end, we will kill you if you try to harm us. Tom turned toward her, angry and disoriented. So these things are talking to her, and he can't hear them. What are you trying to do? Whose side are you on anyway? Look, she uttered, pointing index fingers extended, arms stretched out full length. Tom recognized the glint of terror in Elsie's eyes as he swung around to defend them. But there was nothing to defend against, for standing just beyond the back of the camper were ugh, two beings. The sight of them, the smell of them, the detail of the physical characteristics are something he will never be able to forget. They appeared 3 feet in height. 3 feet? Yeah, Amy Allen. She definitely does. They were 3 feet in height and 2 feet in width. Through their proportions, though their proportions seemed not yet to have taken total physical form, what? Both expanding and contracting alternately? I don't know exactly what that means. Bluish gray in color of the type caused by two live and crackling electrical wires. It was as if they were holograms, physical and yet not physical, translucent and ill-defined, but unquestionably present. He recoiled in horror, falling forward, then bracing himself with his right hand, and in that moment they rushed toward him to an equal degree. He regained his balance, sitting up, and was stunned to observe the two great entities drop back again, incredibly, to the same equal degree. What the? It was then that Tom realized they were stationed there as guards to monitor their actions and make certain they didn't get away. You see, it's hopeless to fight, Elise tried to reason. They're not military, at least not our military. She was right. The excitement, the voice, the dizzying emotions were overwhelming. Without thinking, Tom laid the shotgun on the camper bed at his side as Elise reached for him, wrenched with a numbing, racking fear. Tom had lost all his will. So unlike him. So outside his realm of experience. He sat still, blindly stroking the side of Elise's face with his hand, his eyes fixed upon the two aliens being set as guards before them, then stopped. He heard Elise grasp, then felt his own breathing seize, as if the air had been sucked out of his lungs. The brilliant white objects had all landed now, and the sky was chillingly empty of light, devoid entirely of either stars or moon. But the valley, dark and sprawling, corralled by the shadowy outlines of the enormous mountainscapes, was filled, overrun from several feet away to hundreds of yards beyond, with thousands of pairs of red eyes glowing in the dark around them. Hell no! I'm done reading tonight. I'm scared. That's it for me tonight. Done. You're not irrational. I don't know what you said, but you're not irrational. We have a lot in common and none. I'm the same way. Exact same way. It's not irrational. I'm terrified of death as well. I have FOMO, like fear of missing out. And I get so anxiety filled. Like, what if I die before my son has kids? Or what if he, like, if he has children or something? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's stupid. I think about it. I get anxiety. It's stupid. But I feel the same way. Absolutely none, none. I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. I may not believe in God. I'm telling you though, from what I've heard from others, you know when people get mad at him, swear at him, they swear at God all the time. They get mad and they end up saying sorry and praying. I don't know. I wish I did believe in God because I have a feeling that's something that would really, really, really help me. It sucks. I find churches scary, so I don't go to them. They actually terrify me. He said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." I think so too, Wolfie. Hailstorm. Yeah, I want to see that. You're doing it on Twitter? Okay. I hope I do change my mind. You're not pathetic. I wish I could hug you if I could. I think we all would. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't understand. You're right. I don't think I ever will. Hopefully, I change my mind. I know that this book scared me. That's what. Not only that, I've been on for like what since 7, so I've been on for an hour and a half. I don't want to keep you guys on here forever because I would read the whole book in one night. Hey, Frankie. There's no, not that they'd have photos of these aliens or anything, but there's no drawings. I figured there'd at least be drawings in here, but there's not. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch something funny because I'm gonna have nightmares. You haven't had a hug in years. If you were closer to any one of us, guarantee you'd get a big one. There's churches online now? The church, oh, yeah, yeah, the church that Teresa grew up is in streams on YouTube now. Oh, that ever cool. Oh, you guys are gonna make me cry. Told ya, we don't hug you. Ever since, okay, yeah. If you guys want to see the what Autistic uploaded, this hail and storm she was talking about, it's on Twitter. Enjoy the hail frenzy. I don't wear a mask anymore. I hate they're trying to make us, go back to what it was like before the protests, before the truckers and the protests and all that stuff. They, from what I understand, trying to lock us down again. I can't live like that again. I can't. It's bad enough as it is in the winter. I cannot go through another lockdown again. Not never again. No. They're gonna have to start they'll have to arrest people because nobody's gonna comply this time, I can tell you that. You heard that too? I can't do it again. Like, my summer's been ruined. I keep getting sick. I've had it twice this summer. My grams passed in May. I've gotten 2 more illnesses that weren't the virus. Like, my summer has sucked. Exactly. I won't ever get the I don't want the shot. I don't want the boosters, nothing. So he's had all them. Yeah, it did. It absolutely helped. None. Everything went right back to normal. We were allowed in the stores. We didn't have to wait in line. We didn't have to wear a mask. We could eat in a restaurant. Everything, it's back to norm now. Yeah, it's not even that though, they will not only make us wear masks again, there'll be everything will be closed down again. We will be on lockdown. We won't be allowed out of our homes. It was so bad. Did I see the girl who was taken into a church? No, I didn't see that. Your nephew got it after the second booster. My grams got it too. My mother got it too. My sister got it. I got it. Leland's got it. My son. Yeah, we can't leave. We can't do anything. We can't walk our dog. We can't exercise. We can't do nothing. I hope it doesn't happen again. I can't do that again. Oh, there's been some not only rumors, but I've seen some articles and stuff that we might be going on lockdown again because of the virus, the beer virus. And I just that's the same as here in London. That's why I never got it. Now you got a severe storm? Holy crap, be careful. No, they wouldn't let me do anything. You can't walk your dog. If they seen more than 2 people in a car, the police had to pull you over and arrest you because there's no reason why you need to be out of your damn house. I'm not joking. So say, because I don't drive, say my mother picked me up and my son. A cop can pull us over and give us shit because there's 3 people in the car. I'm glad you didn't yeah, you would oh my god, I'm glad you didn't get it either. Absolutely not, Alberta. If I have kids, it's too bad. Yeah. Like, they just didn't care. They locked us down and, like, I felt like we were in prison. It was a damn prison. You don't know about going to lockdown. I've never seen anything about it, but then I'm not looking specifically for lockdowns, just yeah. Oh, I've been looking. There's been a lot of thunderstorms lately around everywhere. That's the thing, if you have 6 or 7 kids, can you imagine you can't even play in your backyard? What the hell? You're not allowed 2 to not over 2 people in a car? I mean, what are you gonna do? This last video hasn't blown over. It is very bizarre. My God, I feel like I'm starving thinking about those steaks and butter and whatever the hell Teresa had made. Oh, wow, in Argentina. Yeah, and they're saying like it's outside, it's this and oh, they just went crazy. Yeah, we weren't allowed to do anything here. Couldn't go outside, couldn't play in the backyard. It was so quiet. It was like living in The Walking Dead. It's but you and your ramen. You've been hearing about the LD thing. Some instant mashed potatoes. I do have some, but not the kind I like. We have friends in the Philippines who had to have passes just to go. Yeah, nothing outdoors. We can go outside to the park as long as we kept our day. Oh, we weren't allowed to the park, nothing. Oh, it's bad here in Canada. Toilet paper. I mean, one thing about the toilet paper. I have a Brita. I'm good. That's what's the problem. That's why there was this big thing, the truckers and stuff like that. Like the toll on your mental health was the worst. Add butter and seasoning. Yeah, it's true. Mac and cheese with cream cheese. No, I never have. Have you ever had, okay, so a long time ago, somebody made me, I love sweet potatoes, but they made me a baked sweet potato and they mixed it with some butter and herb and garlic cream cheese and put chives on top. Oh my God. It was so good. I didn't think I'd like it, but it was amazing. Yeah, apparently there's a new virus going around, a different friggin' strain. It's just like, really? We have our lives back now. I can't do it with another lockdown. Yeah, hoarding toilet paper. You still have toilet paper from 6 years ago? We just don't use that much? Yeah. That was crazy, the whole toilet paper thing. It was just like, "Are you kidding me?" There was no toilet paper anywhere. Like, nowhere. It was ridiculous. No weddings, no outdoor parties, no nothing. Oh, I can't go back to that life. The new virus in the USA and to other countries. Oh, what? New York, they just exposed a plant with rats that they were, of course they're inject. Oh my God, they need to stop. I think I better go out tomorrow just to see what's up. Start asking around. Yeah. Get a thing to wash. I can't afford one of those stupid things that wash your butt. Yeah, she eats a lot of ramen. Seriously. Every time I talk to you. Ramen, ramen, ramen. I saw people hoarding it and not giving any to the elderly who couldn't walk fast enough to get any. So I walked back and grabbed a few and get, oh, that's so nice. Was that called a bidet? Yes. A bidet. That's not legal. Those plants are messed up. Yep. Got a watering can. I've heard that. No, no, I've heard that all over. That's exactly. Yes. Yeah, a bidet. No, I've never tried one and I don't want one. I'm not gonna walk around with a dripping wet ass. No, I don't want something squirting in my area. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go because I'm hungry. I don't know what I'm gonna make, but I'm gonna make something. It's cheaper than the paper. Well, hopefully it doesn't happen. If it does, you're gonna hear me just a bitchin'. I'll be on here 24/7. It dries your behind too? Well, shit. We need one. Liam, we're getting up a day. He's probably like, what are you talking about? All right, you guys have a good night. I'm out of here. Here comes the stories of, yeah. I'll go watch Barney. It'll make me feel a lot better, that's for sure. Nikki, you dry your ass when you're done. Yeah, with what? I don't have toilet paper. If I didn't have toilet paper, I only have the bidet, then what? Yeah, please keep me sane. All right, thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you enjoyed that book. I know it scared the shit out of me. Definitely. So I'm gonna have to watch some of Stella or Alberta's videos here. All right, after I eat something, I eat it. No, I'm gonna wash it, and then I'm gonna, yeah, with a towel and washcloth. Shut up! I'm just making excuses, okay? All right, you guys have a great night, and tomorrow's Friday. Actually, I'll probably do a live tomorrow. There's some KJ shit that I want to go over. Proves that she is nothing but a T channel. All right, you guys have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.